We are celebrating Canada 150. In Saskatoon-Grasswood, we select a recipient of the Canada 150 pin every 2 weeks for their recognition what they have done in our community of Saskatoon. Kathy Ford has volunteered for nearly 40 years in this city with Saskatoon Foundation. Well, there's just a number of things. Maybe go through over the lifetime of yourself volunteering. There's been a number of things that you've been involved in.
Well, I guess I started with the YWCA, and that was a very impactful experience. And then I was on the board at City Hospital. In fact, I was the very last chair before the hospital was sold to the province.
Okay.
And I was on the Community Foundation, Luther Care Communities. I'm presently on the Board of Governors of the university, and Prairie Hospice Society, which is where we are today.
That's right, and that's your passion right now.
Yes,
so maybe give us an example and give us some details on this. It's a volunteer organization. You've been heavily involved in it, and I think it's something that we desperately need in this community.
Right. So you always have to start when you talk about Prairie Hospice with the fact that there is no residential hospice in our community. I know there is work being done to make that happen, but at present there isn't one. And a residential hospice is a place where people who are terminally ill and who lack the resources for care at home would go to live out their final days, and that can be days or weeks or months, really. And so there isn't a residential. So our program is called Hospice Without Walls, because we don't have the walls. And we have trained in excess of 100 people, 100 volunteers, who will go into the homes of people who are terminally ill and provide them with non-medical support. I always have to say that the health region provides the palliative home care program, and our volunteers will give their clients 4 hours a week as a minimum, typically, and often that's twice a week for a couple of hours. Companionship, take them on outings, take them to appointments, just be with them, and all the while giving respite to the caregiver, who is typically 24/7, right?
Yeah,
the family member,
the truth,
and of course the caregiver often experiences tremendous exhaustion over that time. So we think it's an extremely valuable service. There are some amazing relationships developed between the client and the volunteer. The volunteer stays with the client throughout their journey. We don't have people mixing and matching in one volunteer one week and another week. So that's a really strong aspect of the program. And we also have a little program called Hospice Now, where people who have an emergent need, a ride falls through at the last minute, or they need a ride home from the hospital, or they need to be taken to an appointment, we have some volunteers dedicated to filling in those sort of short notice kinds of situations. So yeah, our volunteers are exceptionally carefully selected, and they are put through a 30-hour training package, and as I say, overall it's just a magnificent program.
Thank you for all your volunteer years in Saskatoon. I am so proud that you're our recipient this week of the Canada 150 for Saskatoon-Grasswood.
Thanks, Kevin.